A glimpse into the lives of artists, authors, and influencers, discussing sincere moments, shareable stories, and unfiltered memories. So this is not your first time in our studio. So back in the day, back in 2011, you came in and you had the chance to speak with James Curtis. Do you recall?
Yes, I do. It was funny because we had videoed it at the time, and that's like one of the few interviews I have online still is me and James Curtis.
Yeah. And you just released, I think it was Skyline. That was your first album. Can you just tell us a little bit, just to get a recap, what was that album about?
Yeah, that's a good question because it's been a while since I've thought about that. I think for me, that album was about freedom, about exploration. And even musically, I was like exploring, what do I even want my sound to be? So there was like folk, pop, rock. But yeah, I think a major theme in that was freedom, and what does that mean? And what are we chasing in life? Like songs like Fly Robin, like a bird actually being set free, or the album title track, Skylines. Yeah, if I could sum it up, that would probably be it.
And it being like your first album, how did it change you? Like when you actually write and you put something out there, you know, that's kind of like the fruit of your heart, right? Yeah. Did you see a change? Did you see, you know, your awareness deepen as an artist or even as a child of God? How has it changed you?
For the first record, how did that change me?
Yeah.
I think writing the record felt pretty ambitious because I didn't have a lot of people speaking into my life musically. And I grew up in a culture where they didn't necessarily like support or champion sort of that artistic creativity. And so like being able to sort of chase a dream and see it come out was really empowering. And it was actually sort of like a marking season in my life where God was showing me like, I've created you to create and giving me permission. So as much as this record was me like exploring what am I capable of? What is God even calling me to? At the end of that process, I felt like, okay, I can do this, and He's called me to do it. So I felt very empowered. Yeah.
How did you actually even get it started? Where did this come from in terms of writing music and actually producing Skylines?
So I was never actually considering recording anything because I figured like only important people that are signed to major record labels can actually even record music. But a friend of mine heard like some demo I created by myself. And he's like, you need to record stuff. And I was like, what do you mean? I had no concept of like the independent artist. I didn't know that was a thing. So as I started at the University of Toronto. I was going to school there. He was connecting me with producers and people that were sort of more low budget. So I had a taste for the recording scene. And then once I did, I was like, I don't want to go low budget. If I'm hearing this orchestra in my song, I'm going to have an orchestra in my song. Like I was sort of like, don't tell me what I can't do now that you've given me a taste for it.
Totally.
So I started like hunting down different producers, and I found a guy in Montreal, Quebec. And I was like, I'm going to try one song with him. And he was expensive to me at the time because I had no concept of like how expensive projects were.
Right.
And I loved it. And once we finished one or two songs, I went out there. I was like, let's do the whole thing. And I was so pleased with that project. And it was compared to the journey I've been on with my latest record.
Yes.
It was so smooth. In fact, so many things about my first record were so smooth. And I really feel like it was God sort of just like kissing my life and saying like, this is for you.
Right.
Sort of like when someone first kind of converts to the Lord, their prayers seemingly, at least in my experience, their prayers get answered really quick.
Right.
Things are pretty like, and I feel like that's the Lord ensuring you.
Right.
And then when you mature, it's like
Life hits.
Things get hard and life hits.
I'm excited for you. I'm excited what God is going to do in your life, and in the lives of the people who interact with your ministry and music. So your album, can you give us a little sneak peek more into your album in terms of what can we expect?
I wrote the record in a way that would disturb Christians and sort of comfort non-Christians. That seems weird, but I wanted Christians who have maybe felt super comfortable with their lives to go deeper, and the people that have been on the outskirts to be like, this God you're singing about is so radical and so refreshing. Like I want in. So there's themes. One of the themes is speaking against this us and them mentality. And so this album is provocative, as my producer will say. It's gutsy. It's not safe. But I think culture is ready for it, because I think more than ever, we're craving authenticity. We're craving what's real. Like, don't package it up. And yet the album's like full, ripping of hope and anticipation. Because you cannot leave the presence of God and not feel extreme hope.